September 11th, do you feel that we're almost heading back into another period like in the 50s? Do you feel the same sort of...
Yeah, I
Is it
feel it.
comparable?
I think there are elements. I actually teach a course at a local college called McCarthy-era Lessons for Post 9/11 America, and there are a lot of parallels. There's no doubt in my mind that if you look at the 1950s, what the American public was told was, hey, there's this international communist conspiracy out there that's going to destroy our way of life, and the old rules don't apply. Well, the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, these kind of legal protections, we can't use them. Security has to come first. Civil liberties, civil rights has to come second. Human rights have to come second. Security must be paramount. And it all happened during the Korean War. And we were all, and the basic motivating principle behind it was fear. Fear of destruction. Well, if you pull out the word communist and you plug in the word terrorist, you have the same equation. And you know, it's the irony of our leaders saying violence, you know, we have to teach our children that violence is not the way to solve problems, when of course that's what they resort to all the time, and they've been successful at doing it. And capital punishment is part of that. It's part of a war. You kill your enemies in war. If we have a war on crime, we need to kill the criminal. Every execution creates a new class of victims. That is, the family members of the executed. And I in particular talk about the children of the executed.
Yeah.
You know, we know there are 3,400 people on death row today. How many children have an immediate family member on death row today in the United States? Nobody's even bothered to find out. Nobody's even bothered to research what the impact on them is. Don't the people who want to execute these people have an obligation to understand the consequences of this action? Shouldn't they be looking at this? Nobody even seems to care. But by pointing this out, you give death penalty opponents new ammunition, and you give death penalty proponents pause. Stop. I've had conversations with people say, gee, you know, I never thought about it that way. Well, we should start thinking about it that way. We have these gatherings at the RFC. We bring young people together for long weekends. We just had one at the end of August. We bring them together for a long weekend of sharing. Yeah. They tell their stories to each other. They are at a summer camp. They have a good time. They do some writing. They do some music. Fantastic. They do, you know, and then they tell their stories. It's a retreat, and they get to see in the most graphic way that they're not alone, and they get to forge connections and build community that can have a positive influence upon them. And you know, this is not large numbers of people, but I think these people are qualitatively important. And from my perspective, I think those of us who were involved in opposition, we have to do what we can. And we have to do it in a manner that we can sustain ourselves in doing it. I think I know my limitations. There's certain things I can do, there's certain things I can't do. This is something I can do. This is you know, I think we all have the opportunity to be a force for good or bad in the world, no matter how small. And if we make our contribution, if we don't feel we have to do everything, we just do something. And that something is a positive. Yeah. You know, a large number of people doing a small bits of good deeds can have a powerful influence. And that's, you know, that's the attitude I take towards it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Roy.
Thank you.
Really is brilliant.
We did family gatherings for the first time.
Yeah.
Which were a little, well, they come here, but we have a summer camp, which creates a...
It's great, though. It is a great thing.
So that's...
Is this where you came up with summer camps when you were here?
Well, we actually into the Catskills in New York more, but I don't have to deal with it. It's a little too fast.
You don't have to, because, I mean, how many people do they execute a year? They execute a few.
Very, but also as an attorney.
Yeah.
Though it's not my, you know, I would never do a death row case. That's just not what I do.
Yeah.
But
do you still practice law?
you know, no, not really.